Well, hello everyone. This is my first unboxing video. A friend of mine is cleaning up his workshop and he gave this to me. Thought I might be able to do something with it. It's a very simple box. Looks kind of retro. It's got sellotape, but it also has extra staples. Yeah, very nice box. Let's open it. Let's see what's inside. Oh wow, it looks like some documentation. It looks Russian. Oh, look at this. They're IM3 Nixie tubes. Let's have a look. See. 0.2 milliamps. Striking voltage 90. Holding voltage 55 volts. So let's have a look at them. These are little neon lights, front indicating. Cool. So should be about 1,000 in here. Let me get this out of the way, get my power supply set up, and we'll light some. So here we have the neon bulbs. I'm just using 240 volts mains rectified with a current limiting resistor. This one's running on 4.7 mega ohm. It's not so bright, but still okay. And that one's running on 1 mega ohm. So they are quite nice little neons. And I was thinking, what should I build with them? And I didn't have to think very long because one of my favorite YouTubers is Big Clive. And he's got all sorts of blinky supercomputers with LEDs, and he's also quite a fan of neon bulbs. So I thought I'll make a neon bulb supercomputer. And then I was thinking, well, how do I have to make them blink? I'll have to maybe get some little oscillator, and I have to use high voltage transistors, and it's going to get complicated. But then I remembered another one of my favorite YouTubers, and that's Fran from Franlab. And she had made this Christmas ornament using neons and like a relaxation oscillator, I believe it was. So I went back to her channel and she explains the circuitry quite well. So I thought that's ideal. I'll just use her schematic and made a little test. And it was going quite nicely. So hey, I'm set. So I know how to build it. I'm gonna make an 8x8 supercomputer. The reason why is because I've been looking through my bins of new old stock components, and I just happen to have quite a few 4.7 mega ohm resistors and 0.15 microfarad capacitors lying around, so I don't have to buy any of that stuff. I'll just build it with that. I'll have enough for an 8x8. So that's my plan, to build an 8x8 supercomputer with these little blinking neon bulbs. So here's my little test circuit. 10 ohm inrush current limiting resistor, a 4 bridge rectifier and a smoothing capacitor. Quite a high discharge resistor, but it's high watt and it's something I had lying around. And basically this is the main circuit from Franlab. I'll leave a link to Fran and Big Clive video in the description. So this is a test. I think the flashing is quite okay, the frequency. So I'll be kind of freestyling the soldering, just soldering the components straight together, kind of like Fran does, and then make a nice frame for them and mount everything together. So we'll start by making the individual 8 columns with 8 neons, and we'll go from there. So now I'll mount 8 of the neons in a column. I'm using this little 3D printed jig to do that. And we'll have to make 8 of those to get our 8x8 matrix. This is a 2mm brass rod, which I'll chop to the size of the jig. And then we'll bend the leads of the neons so they're facing the right way. Bend this leg out a little bit and fit it to the jig. And I can solder it. That's 8 of them. We'll just crop the leads off. We can do the resistors on the other side. It sits in there. That's the negative rail, by the way. So now we'll do the positive. We have our current limiting resistors, which we will pre-tin. Now we solder the resistors to the positive bar. And then now I will connect the neon bulbs. Just give it a little bend, comes across. And that's one row done. And these ones I'm not cropping yet because I'll have to connect the capacitor between these pins to other neon bulbs in the matrix. So I need 8 of these, so I'll make another 7 to fit them next to each other. I've got these 2 jigs. Just pop them in and hopefully it will not be too difficult and we'll get our matrix. Seems to be alright. So we've got our matrix. So now we can start on this side. Connect all the negatives together and then all the positives together. So I've bent 2 of these connecting rods. course I have to connect 8, so I have to solder 6 more pins in between. And this is my little drill jig that I use to drill the holes in the wood. So I'm using this to pre-solder the pins on it. That's the first one. That's one done. Solder the bus bar. Those pre-tinned. Let's see if I can use this as a spacer. Right, so we have all our negatives connected. I'll make the other bus bar and solder that one on as well. So I've connected the 2 bus bars and I've hooked them up to the full bridge rectifier running off the mains. And they seem to be working well. They don't give off much light because I'm using a high value of current limiting resistor. And they all seem okay except for this one. This one's actually glowing in between the 2 metal pins going into the neon instead of between the plates. So I'll have to replace that one. And then I'll have to connect all the capacitors at the back to do the blinking. So here you can see I've been soldering in some of the capacitors. Got my connection pattern, which I generated on computer, randomly generated which one is connected to which one. They're always in pairs. So I've done the ones closest together, fitted them in now, and we'll see how it looks. Seems to be going okay. So now I'll just have to solder a bunch more capacitors. Well, I've connected up all the capacitors and we'll see how it works. Off it goes. I just dim the lights. I do want to emphasize that it's a little bit dangerous. You have to know what you're doing. We'll get the voltmeter in and have a look at the voltage. So we got about 304 volts DC on the bus bars. So yeah, please do be careful if you make one of these. So I'll start off on the DC side with a smoothing capacitor and a discharge resistor. It's 1.8 microfarads, 400 volts, and it's 2.2 mega ohm. It's just recycled bits that I have lying around, so the values aren't that important. One connection, that's the other connection. There we go. Oh, looks like I did everything right. It's a little bit dangerous the way it is now. So I'll make a nice housing for it. Okay, let's try to put this thing together. Let's set this one aside for the moment. Well, I think we have everything. Let's get started with the power plug. Let's go. It should be the last of the soldering. Want it to be on the inside. There we go. That's this one. Alright. So if we can slide them in. Whoop, that one went in. Now the last piece. This is gonna be a nightmare, I believe. Have to line all these pins up with the holes and get the plexiglass, the acrylic to slide in. I can line up the holes first. Oh, this should be, it might be very doable. Where's my tweezers? I'll get them in one by one. Brass screws. Well, it should be finished. Well, I think it's looking quite nice. Oh, I'm very happy with this. Turn off the other lights as well. Wow, mesmerizing.